To get destroyed by Manny Pacquiao like I did in 2 rounds, and then I knew my career was over. No more boxing.
Very tough beating to get me out of the sport.
Like Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he beat the hell out of me.
I fall down. I'm like, wow, that didn't seem that hard. Why did I go down? How did I go down like that?
Fighters are sweating, managers are doing math, and matchmakers are suddenly out of office. Why? Because Manny Pacquiao at 46 walked back into boxing like someone forgot to send him the retirement memo. He's shadowboxing in fast cuts, the crowd noise is rising, and there's that quick 4-piece combo that still looks rude to time itself. Today we're diving into why fighters are actually terrified of Manny Pacquiao's comeback, speed that feels unfair, footwork that keeps rewriting angles, ring IQ that ages like a black belt in chess, and psychology that turns a normal fight week into a referendum.
Yeah, he's 60-1. I mean, you can't get a better odds than this. And they said, Freddie, your guy's gonna get killed. I said, what are you, crazy? I said, this kid is special.
I frankly had never heard of him, but I've seen it.
Manny Pacquiao still fights like time is a suggestion, not a rule. Fighters were nervous when Pacquiao retired. They're petrified now that he didn't stick to the script. Sean Porter's take, paraphrased but hard to miss, lands first in the conversation. He couldn't hide his surprise because Manny still looks like Manny. There's a spring in the feet that doesn't match the number on his passport, a suddenness in the burst that tightens the air in a ring walk, and the same impish grin that says, let's do 12.
Who have you sparred? You like, damn. If you had them little 8-ounce whatever gloves.
Manny.
Okay.
Yeah, Manny. Yeah, Manny.
All right.
Even when the other guy just wanted to do 8. Opponents come in expecting nostalgia, a measured legend, clinical and cautious, maybe a tap-tap probe to set up single shots. Instead, they meet the chaos engine. He slips left, springs right, splits the guard with a 2-beat rhythm, then exits on a diagonal like he had the map when everyone else is using intuition. Unpredictability alone raises the heart rate in the locker room, but what shocks fighters more is how his speed now shows up in pockets.
Don't call it a comeback.
The crucial bursts that win moments, and how those moments quietly stack into rounds. Chris Algieri's angle helps decode it. Raw speed fades, but perceived speed is what happens when timing gets disrespectful. Manny hides his entries behind foot feints and shoulder dips, shifting gears so the opponent's brain is always half a beat late. It's jab, flash step, half beat pause, bang bang on the gloves, head or body, then a silky exit that pulls the camera off center. It's not that he's flooring the accelerator for 3 minutes. It's that he chooses perfect seconds and makes them loud. Perceived speed keeps opponents from getting set, and when a fighter can't establish a rhythm, he stops being dangerous and starts being careful, which is exactly when Manny starts being Manny. The micro feints, the head tilts, the baited eyes, they're not parlor tricks. They're how he compresses your decision window until you're reacting to his past rather than his present. Teddy Atlas's critique of opponents adds the next layer. Too many guys look stuck when Manny pushes pace, like they're surprised a 40-something turns the ring into a treadmill. That's because Manny's pressure is measured, not messy. He doesn't bulldoze, he guides. He walks you into corners without appearing to cut you off, and by the time you recognize the trap, your feet already agreed to it.
Fountain of youth. It was Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a guy named Ponce de Leon. True combination of speed, power, and tenaciousness, mental toughness.
He'll step outside your lid, feint the left to the body, then clip the temple, and before you can draft the counter, he's off on the same angle he used to enter. Repeat that a few times and you don't want to lead anymore. You cede control. And when you cede control to Manny, you're suddenly playing fast first, think second, a game in which he remains multilingual. Max Kellerman's live view lens explains why judges get overwhelmed. Manny's late round flurries, those steal the frame bursts, bend optics. He can let the first 80 seconds breathe, lull everyone into thinking the exchange rate is even, then rattle off a 5-punch sequence where 2 land clean and 3 glance loud. In person, the moment feels decisive and judges are human. On replay, maybe you can argue meticulous counters. Live, the impression is owned by the guy who does more sooner and especially later. Opponents can box neat, but if they keep losing moments, they keep losing rounds, and that's how desperation creeps in. Desperation against a sharp southpaw is how reach turns into overreach, how hunting turns into wandering, and how a highlight clip gets its soundtrack. Freddie Roach's pragmatic point is a compass for this version of Pacquiao. He's not loading every shot like the old days. Now it's flash and placement over one-punch devastation. He wins the math. The math is scoring moments, cleaner optics, smarter exits. It's not less dangerous, it's differently dangerous. It's the classic car that still hugs corners better than your brand new model because someone kept tuning the suspension. And that's what terrifies contenders. The idea that they might be outworked by a legend who isn't supposed to still be this dangerous. Because if his power is now selective but his volume is purposeful, how do you pick the spot where you're safe? There isn't a safe spot. There's only the spot where you haven't realized you're in danger yet. Bernard Hopkins's respect angle brings in the psychology nobody trains for. Manny's motivation is legacy, not just checks, and that kind of fuel burns hotter. When you fight Pacquiao now, you aren't just fighting a man, you're contending with a story that has its own gravitational pull. Win and the world shrugs because he's 46. Lose and you spend the next year explaining an outcome that social media screenshotted in 4K from 15 different angles.
Pacquiao's an all-around fighter. He's an all-around fighter, and to me, all-around style, all-around fighter is different. So
it's a classic no-win optics problem. If you lose rounds early, you're the guy getting schooled by a legend. If you start fast and fade late, you couldn't keep up with an old man. Either way, if Manny is still grinning in round 10, you're the one answering uncomfortable questions at the podium. That's why the Rolly Romero question makes phone lines buzz. Romero's bravado is never in short supply, resume stamps matter, and who doesn't want a Hall of Famer's name on the ledger? But Rolly thrives on chaos, and Manny manufactures controlled chaos.
Not yet. He's an inductee.
Wait. Wait. So Manny Pacquiao is not inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Not yet. What does he mean to the sport of boxing?
No, wait. Y'all just got me fucked up. Wait. The one
hey,
dude, the one 8th division champion, not inducted to the Hall of Fame.
The difference is not academic, it's oxygen. Rolly wants wide lanes and dramatic moments where a single shot can rearrange the narrative. Manny narrows the lanes, changes the speed limit without warning, and steals the drama with steady offense that keeps the judges busy. Picture the sequence. Romero winds up, Manny has already checked 2 feet to the left, he clips a counter, pivots, and Rolly is suddenly squaring up with the wrong shoulder. Scoreboards don't care how loud a punch looks. They care who landed clean, who looked in command, and who wrote the last sentence of the exchange.
Boxing at the time, so... But like I said, I do remember him fighting Broner. That was January 19th, 2019. I remember when he fought Keith Thurman. That was on July 20th. July 20th, 2019.
Even the Floyd rematch, Thought Experiment, has a way of rattling nerves, not because anyone is pounding desks for it, but because the idea itself is a measuring stick. A Mayweather Camp Elder POV goes like this: serious levels of activity still matter. Manny has been in competitive mode, not just exhibition mode, and that difference stresses reactions in ways that gym work can't replicate. Floyd's defensive mastery is evergreen, but there's no substitute for live fire decision-making. Even talking about this comparison forces fighters to ask what Manny is still doing that others have stopped doing. That question often flatters Manny more than it should at his age, and flattery in this context is just another form of pressure on everyone else. Then there's the tank problem, a puzzle with its own explosions. Trainer chatter around Gervonta Davis keeps circling the same caution sign: respect the footwork. The danger isn't just Manny's left, it's the trap door he uses to exit on the wrong angle after he throws it. If you chase Pacquiao, you feed his counter angles. If you wait on him, you donate points to his stack. That turns the fight into a chess match between ambush power and ambush footwork. You can win 9 minutes and lose 9 seconds in a fight with Tank. You can also win 9 minutes and lose 9 seconds to Manny. The real terror is that Manny won't give you the same read twice. Tank punishes patterns. Manny erases them before they're legible. Inside the gym, the camp craft is built around intelligent bursts. The Freddy/Buboy vibe is all about late-round sprints, angle ladders, and southpaw pocket entries. They rehearse diagonals that yank Manny off the center line just enough to fire without being there for the receipt. The goal isn't to bully anyone into the ropes for nostalgia's sake. It's to nudge them there and then slot a short left through a space that looked too tight to be real. Prepared chaos beats talented comfort, and when the fight gets messy, that's not an accident, it's the plan. Opponents can be talented and well coached, but they often haven't practiced turbulence as a system. Manny's team has. Andre Ward's analytical lens captures the geometry lesson most opponents fail mid-exam. Mid-range against Manny is no man's land. Step in and he meets you with short shots before your hips finish the thought. Step out and he carries you with feints that herd you into his preferred lanes. Your lead foot should be outside his, sure, but Manny can still win exchanges even when it isn't because he doesn't square up. He slices past your shoulder and punches on the move. So you hover in mid-range and do the worst thing possible. You do nothing. Judges don't award points for indecision. Manny's assertiveness becomes the only thing that reads clearly on camera, and the round drifts his way like iron filings to a magnet. Jim Lampley's ringside instinct brings in the theater of it all. Manny's ringcraft still manipulates the arena's temperature. When he flurries, the crowd spikes. Fighters feel that surge inside their ribs and judges feel it in their pens. Optics don't tell the whole truth, but they do tell a truth. Pacquiao's poker face, calm eyes, springy legs, steady breathing telegraphs that he likes the pace. When he looks unbothered, you start to wonder if you're doing enough, and when you wonder, you hesitate. That's the moment he goes. It's not crowd manipulation so much as moment mastery. He knows when a round is a sentence waiting for a verb, and he knows how to be that verb.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, putting suckers in fear. Making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explode.
Veteran cornermen will tell you the body language war is as real as any exchange in the pocket. Manny doesn't wear fatigue the way others do. He smiles between breaks, taps gloves, and then steals a moment that rewrites the round's emotional math. If your face says tired, his feet say go. If your shoulders whisper, I need a reset, his rhythm crescendos. When fighters start listening to their bodies instead of their corners, Manny's already writing the next paragraph. Trainers' room consensus is that Manny still makes between round edits better than most. He changes hand placement, picks a new exit, flips the entry tempo, maybe a half-beat delay on the first two, then a sudden third you weren't primed for. He'll thump the body to nudge your elbows down, then clip upstairs the moment your coach yells, watch the left.
Shadow boxing like that, what is that for? Because you can apply that in habit, you become a habit. When you shadow boxing like, woo, woo, like that.
You do watch it, but you watch the left you expected rather than the version he prepared. Many fighters can explode, fewer can edit. Manny edits in real time, and fights are won by editors in rounds 7 through 10. Old guard champs point to the age narrative as a decoy that keeps hurting the people who believe it. Guys prepare to manage an older man's rhythm, and Manny shows up with a rhythm that belongs to his footwork, not his birth certificate. He's mastered resource allocation. Shorter bursts placed with surgical cruelty, not long sprints that leave the tank dry. That's a modern algorithm, high return on risk, minimal waste. You think you're fighting 46. By the time you realize you're fighting Manny, the shape of the bout belongs to him. Ask sparring partners and they'll shrug at the idea of cloning Manny in camp. You can copy his stance, you can't copy his entry disguise. The little knee dip, the eyes that flash one story while the shoulders set up another. The habit of hinting straight left and delivering a short hook or sneaky upper. These are coded tells he mismatches on purpose. By round 3, the scouting report feels like fiction and you're flipping to the pictures instead of reading the text. Film helps until it doesn't, and that's when his experience cashes the check. Promoters and managers add the money layer that terrifies scorekeepers and accountants alike. Manny is high risk, high headline. Beat him and the chorus says, but age, lose and the internet never forgives you. Some belts are business, Pacquiao is history, history has teeth. If you're a contender, you're trying to stack momentum, not answer existential questions. Manny turns nights into essays. If you're a champion, do you want to defend against the guy whose name is louder than your strap? If you're a rising star, do you trust your best version to appear under the brightest archival lights? In film rooms, coaches replay the 3 clips that ruin sleep. Clip 1 is the inside pivot left with the short hook and step off, perfect for punishing overcommits. Clip 2 is the half step back from southpaw and the lead right hook that rings like a fire drill, perfect for punishing chase. Clip 3 is the double feint high and the straight left to the solar plexus, perfect for punishing high guards with lazy elbows. None of these demand a 3-minute gas pedal. They demand 1 second of perfect, and Manny can still find it. Be right for 90% of a round and you can still be wrong right where it counts. So if you're fighting Manny, what's the survival kit? Elite trainers keep repeating the same mantra in various dialects of caution. Discipline beats ego, and exits must be defined before the bell, not after the exchange. Control the first 30 and the last 30 seconds of every round so he doesn't steal optics. Pre-program the pivot. If you exit straight back, you're donating points and probably giving him the angle he wanted anyway. Never admire your jab. He counter steps while you admire. Feint to freeze him first, force him to guess before you do. Score, smother, reset. He gets nothing free on the way out. Breathe with purpose. If your face tells him you're tired, his feet answer with speed. The uncomfortable truth is that even the right plan feels like threading a needle in a hurricane. The needle keeps moving, the wind keeps changing directions. Veteran voices tend to agree on the ending nobody wants to admit. You don't get comfortable against Manny Pacquiao. You get less uncomfortable and hope the judges see it your way. This comeback isn't a victory lap, it's a viability statement. He is viable, he is difficult, he is inconvenient for anyone who wants a safe, impressive night. The reason opponents are actually terrified isn't the number next to his age, it's the agency he still imposes. Manny dictates. He dictates the pace, the length of exchanges, the shape of rounds, and let's be honest, the story everyone leaves with. Boxing is fists and footwork, but it's also narrative, and Manny writes in permanent ink. From cold open to final bell, the same themes keep folding into each other like combinations that land before the camera finishes blinking. The shock factor is that he's still Manny. The speed is an illusion you can't measure on a stopwatch because it's built from timing you can't rehearse with stand-ins. The pressure suffocates space without looking reckless, and the scoring confusion spins out of a perfectly cynical understanding of optics. His power-to-volume trade favors mathematics.
I have Pacquiao because his footwork, those calves that he has are incredible, are amazing. And when he jumps on his toes, and he confuses you and he throws punches from different angles.
And his legacy pressure forces opponents to choose between bad headlines and worse ones. Rolly Romero's appetite for chaos looks smaller inside Manny's controlled storm. The Spectre of a Floyd comparison, even as a thought experiment, reminds people that activity is its own weapon. Tank's explosive language meets Manny's angle-driven dialect, and the translation isn't comfortable for anyone. Campcraft rehearses turbulence on purpose. Mid-range becomes his living room, and optics keep doing half the work because he knows when to make the crowd breathe harder. Body language sells confidence while the other guy starts buying doubt. Mid-fight edits keep shifting the rules, age becomes a decoy, and the southpaw homework never arrives on time because no one can truly clone the disguise package. The money layer turns every negotiation into calculus, film study reduces to 1 second that matters, and the survival kit, however sound, still feels like instructions for a fire that changes color every minute. So yes, the fear is real and it's perfectly rational. It's the fear of fighting a style that refuses to age on schedule. It's the fear of a man who doesn't need to be faster than everyone. He just needs to be faster than, in the second where a round swings and a night's narrative flips. It's the fear of optics, of legacy, of mathematics and moments. And the fear of an opponent who smiles at the bell like the hardest part of his day is deciding which angle he wants to exit from after he steals your last 30 seconds. If you enjoyed the breakdown, you already know why fighters and their teams are measuring breaths a little more carefully when Manny Pacquiao's name is in the atmosphere. Keep your guard up, keep your feet under you, and whatever you do, don't reach on a southpaw angle. Because the moment you reach, he's already gone and the judges are left with the only thing that counts, the impression he manufactured while you were waiting for a rhythm that never stayed the same long enough to study it. That's why the comeback isn't just a headline, it's a problem. And that's why the people who matter are, in the most professional sense possible, terrified. Hit that subscribe button on Knock Radar for exclusive fight rumors and the real stories behind boxing's biggest moments. Drop a comment comment below, we want to hear what you think.